Hi everyone, it's Jo, otherwise known as the Little Bean on Instagram, TikTok, and now here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going out on a limb and sharing some of my unpopular opinions on luxury bags, focusing today specifically on all things Louis Vuitton. So if we haven't met, my name is Jo, and I'm a lover of all luxury bags and beauty. If you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and be sure to click on the notification button so you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Okay, so before we start, I'm just going to preface with the fact that these are all solely my own opinions, and it's by no means any judgment on anyone else's preferences. So if there are bags or a collection that I mentioned in this video, and it's one that you happen to love, that's awesome. We all have our own tastes, our own styles, and I think that's what makes this community great. So please don't take anything I'm about to say with a lot of negativity. This is really just meant to be a lighthearted, fun video that's meant to start conversations and just have fun discussing the topic of bags. So now that's out of the way, let's go ahead and start with a strong one. I hate the Neverfull, specifically the size, but I imagine I would hate the GM size as well. Now I do have the mini inside out, and I don't count that in this because I feel like the mini inside out is more of a mini bag and not really a tote bag like the Neverfull here. Now, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion because so many people have the Neverfull and it's their ride or die bag, but just hear me out because I haven't always hated it. The Neverfull was actually my first luxury bag purchase. I remember getting sucked in by this free, quote unquote, free mini zip clutch that comes with it. Though I will say I never use this. I feel like it's such a thin pouch, so it's really hard to use. But I was really excited to kind of get that extra piece. And so when I first got the Neverfull, I wore the crap out of it for about a year or two, but then the moment I got another bag, I just stopped using it. And there are a number of reasons. So first off, I am just not a tote person. I have gotten to the point where I do use a tote for my work bag, but overall, I just really started shifting towards mini bags over the past few years. So I really never had a reason outside of work to carry it. Also, I'm just really not impressed with how this bag has worn over the years. Everyone tells me that you can just use the Neverfull in a very carefree way, that it can just be like, a bag you throw around. But for me, I feel like doing that really just destroyed this bag. If you look really close, you can see the vachetta lining here has really just rubbed away, and it just looks dirty and sad. And I just feel like when I wear this, it just looks really beat up, but not in a cute way. Secondly, I don't like the structure or function of this bag. I do feel like it's just kind of floppy, and there isn't a lot of ways to really organize with it. I don't like how if you fill it a lot, things kind of can be seen poking through the canvas either. I just think it is really hard to organize, and for me, that's something that I really like when I have a tote or when I have a larger bag. And then another thing I talk about a lot is the fact that there is no zipper on this, and that just drives me nuts. I honestly just don't understand how people can travel on airplanes with the Neverfull, because I'd just be constantly worried about things falling out or people stealing things. So I just never use this for travel. And I also hate the straps. They're so thin and they're really not comfortable. And so if you have a lot of stuff in your bag and it's really heavy, I feel like the straps really dig into your shoulders. And so that's actually a reason I don't actually use this as my work tote anymore either, because when it's just so heavy, it's not comfortable. And finally, I just am not a huge fan of this bag because I feel like everybody has it. And I'm not against the bag just for that reason, but I just do feel like it's kind of been done to death and you just kind of see it everywhere. So overall, I'm just not really into the Neverfull anymore. So what do you think? Are you a fan of the Neverfull, or do you kind of have the same thoughts as I do? Definitely share in the comments below. I'm very curious about this one. So next, I want to talk about the Pochette Accessories. Now, I feel like this is a very classic piece. A lot of people have this piece in their collection. Often it's the first luxury purchase you'll make, kind of that entry-level bag into luxury brands. And so I know that this bag has a very near and dear place in many people's hearts, but I hate it. I just feel like this bag really is one of the ones that the only reason I have it in my collection still is because I use it for size comparisons, so that when I compare a new bag or a different bag that I have, it's comparing against something that a lot of people are already familiar with and might have in their collection, so they can get an idea of sizing. But other than that, I never use this bag. It's one that just drives me up the wall. So first of all, it's just, I feel like a relatively boring bag. I don't feel like there is anything very special stylistically about it compared to some of my other bags, such as the Palace Clutch, that I feel like has some design elements to it. It comes with a chain as well as a crossbody strap. Now, I do know the new version of the PA does come with a chain and I think a long crossbody, but it's also a lot more expensive, and that's something to keep in mind as well. Whereas this vintage version that you can get for, you know, probably anywhere between $300 to $600 is typically the shoulder bag version. But anyway, I just feel like this bag doesn't have any functionality to it. It's just this open pocket on the inside. And so, you know, organizing things is a pain. And the canvas is so soft. And so it really makes a difference when you fill this bag with items. Okay, so I went ahead and filled this bag with a few of my more common items. So I have my cell phone, a comb, a card holder, a little mini catch-all, hand sanitizer, a lipstick, and a perfume. So there's not anything crazy, nothing is super bulky. Everything fits and lines up really well, so I'm happy about that. And the thing is about the PA is it always looks like it has a lot of space to it. But the issue is when you zip it, it does this. It does this. I cannot stand this. I think a wonky zipper is among one of my top pet peeves of bags. And so, you know, okay, I can try and perhaps like rearrange things a little bit maybe. But even then, like it doesn't zip straight. And even if I could get it to, when you hold the bag, then it definitely gets even more wonky. And it's a deal breaker for me. I cannot handle this. I don't think it looks cute in any way, shape, or form. And so, yes, I could carry less in my bag. That is 100% true. Let's say I take, you know, my phone out and try and rearrange some of these things. Sure, I can do that, but I also don't want to like fully you know, rearrange things when, especially the fact that there is room in this bag. Like I can feel it, I can see it. There's room in here, but in order to make sure it does what I want it to do, I have to take my phone out. Like, that just never sells for me. So just for comparison, I went ahead and put the same items I had shown in the PA into the Palace clutch. And as you can see, everything fits in here. And then there's this extra pocket where I put my phone. And when I zip this one up, there is no wonky zipper. And when I pick it up with the chain, there's no wonky zipper. So for me, it's just, this is just hands down a better option overall for me and what I'm looking for in my style. And so that is why I just never reach for the PA. Overall, I know it's a classic. I know it's got nostalgia tied to it for many people. I know a lot of people, it's their daily bag, their ride or die. But for me, I can't stand it. I can't stand it. So again, let me know your comments below about the PA and what you think. Okay, next up, I am not a fan of reversed monogram. I don't know what it is. I think it's the actual color. I feel like I don't like how it doesn't blend well with the original canvas color. Like, I like how leather complements original monogram, and I think it looks better than the way reverse monogram looks next to it. And then when they add the black and the gold and all of these other colors, I just feel like the combinations look too busy. I think that's what it is. I feel like reverse mono paired with original monogram just looks busy. So there are a few bags that I'm drawn to in terms of silhouette, but I just haven't jumped on them because they're only in reverse monogram, such as the On The Go BB and the entire Daphne line. But given the price of bags nowadays, I'm just not willing to spend that amount of money on a bag that I just don't feel like I'll fully love. So yes, let me know your comments below on what you think about reverse monogram. So the next one, I'm curious if you guys agree. I am not a fan of the Capucines collection. I know that Louis Vuitton is trying to push this as their top tier bag, but for me, there really is very little that draws me to this line. First off, in my opinion, the silhouette is just so plain. It's almost borderline boring. Like, it's so structured and it just feels too prim and proper to be really worn very often. And I feel the same way about classic flaps at Chanel. They just feel like too dressy to me. And secondly, the bag doesn't seem very functional. I hate the opening. It's just that little flap and it just seems like it's so cramped, and I can imagine it's hard to get into. Now, I have this bag that was gifted to me by Parisa Wang, and I feel like it's very similar in silhouette and structure to the Capucines, and it's very nice, but again, I don't really use it because I just find like it's really hard to, with this flap here, to like get in and out of the bag, and I just don't like this. I think it's not as functional, especially when you have the top handle. And I don't know, but based on the pictures, I feel like this bag actually has a larger opening than the Capucines. So to me, I can't imagine it would be very easy to actually use the Capucine bag. And finally, the price is just insane. Like, I know they're all leather bags, but I just feel like for those price points, that would definitely exceed what I'd be willing to pay. So again, this is probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm definitely curious what you guys think. So please share in the comments below. So next I want to talk about vachetta. Now, I am not sure if this is an unpopular opinion or if others agree with me, but I hate raw vachetta with a passion. And I'm so glad that Louis Vuitton is finally starting to treat their leather on many of their bags. Like my nano bags have vachetta that's been treated already. But overall, if my bag has raw vachetta, I'm just really not able to enjoy it. So for example, I haven't really worn this beautiful Samora BB because I'm always worried if for some reason the weather were to turn and it starts raining, or if I take it out to a restaurant and it might get stains on it. I just am always worried. And so I'm also hoping that the vachetta on this will darken and patina a little bit more, because I actually like the look of honey patina a lot more than the like whiter raw vachetta look. So I'm patiently waiting, and I know if I used it, it would darken faster. So it's kind of this catch-22. But overall, like, I just feel like bags, especially at this price, should be ones that you can just use and enjoy carefree, which I'm sure many people do, even though they have, these vachetta bags like this. But for me, I am like so careful and overly cautious that I don't feel like I get the full joy of using the bag. So this is another example. This is my Nice Nano Vanity, and it has this little spot on the vachetta right here, and I don't know what it is. It almost kind of looks like a bleach spot, so I don't know if, in using like facial moisturizers or something, I accidentally had a bleach mark, but now that makes me sad. You know what I mean? Like, I have this spot here, and does it matter? No, but like, I'm sad. So I just don't like the fact that now I'm always careful with how I use this because I don't want it to get ruined anymore. Whereas it's a vanity case. I'm supposed to be able to like carry it around, use it for travel, use it for toiletries. So yeah, I just feel like vachetta really sucks the joy out of using bags for me, which I know sounds dramatic. So I know people have said you can spray your vachetta with Apple Guard and it will waterproof it and protect it. But I've also heard the opposite, that if you spray your bags with Apple Guard, you're actually like affecting the leather and its ability to breathe, and it will crack easier. So I don't really know, but because I've heard bad things, I've just never taken the plunge to spray my products with those types of treatments. So that's another thing I'm curious about. If you guys have sprayed your bags with Apple Guard to protect the vachetta, has it worked out well? Do you recommend it? Because like I said, there's people that I know and trust that have told me like don't do it, and so I've never done it, and so here we are with me constantly worrying about my bags. So very curious about that. But either way, I'm very curious what you guys think. Again, these are two beautiful pieces and I do love them and I plan to keep them. But I'm just going to look forward to the day when they have patinaed a bit and are a little more hardy. So the last one I'm probably going to get a little bit of flack for, but I am just not a fan of the Murakami collections, like any of them. I'm just not a fan. And I think it's just that the colors are just too bright for me. Like I wouldn't know, and I don't know how to style them with my wardrobe or the outfits that I wear. Now, I did end up getting two vintage SLGs to add to my collection, because, SLGs you put into your bag so you're not going to necessarily see them. Because I do think they're fun, but like even then, I just really don't use these very much because they're white, and so like they're already kind of dirty because they're vintage, and so I'm always scared about ruining them. So it's just like not for me. I remember seeing the Murakami collections when they first came out when I was younger, and I used to think they looked fake, and I just kind of still think that today. Like I don't really like the look. And I think the Cherry Blossom collection is better because again, I'm a fan of Monogram, but overall, I'm just not a fan of any painted Monogram bags. Not only because I prefer the more plain classic look, though many would say that's boring, and I get it. I mean, I think maybe my style is just more boring. But I also feel like I would constantly just live a life of fear that the paint would chip. So I have two items from the trunks and bag collection, and these two also have painted designs on the monogram, and both of them have chipped a lot. Now I've tried to repair them a little bit on my own because I'm cheap, and they just haven't worn well. And so I just know that if I got something that was painted on similar to these, I would feel just really stressed out about them as well. Overall, I kind of get the nostalgia aspect of it, I guess, but I don't know. To me, it's just the Murakami line is just not my thing. So I am definitely curious if there are others who feel the same way, or maybe I'm just the oddball in this case, and I'm fine with that too. My wallet is very happy that I'm not a fan of this collection. Okay, well, I think I'll go ahead and stop here for now with my unpopular opinions. But as always, I definitely want to hear your thoughts below. Do you agree with my opinions, or are they unpopular opinions for a reason? Again, these are just my thoughts, and I fully respect that everyone has their own preferences and styles. And again, I think we should all celebrate that. But yeah, let me know your thoughts below. Again, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe, and let me know which bag brand you'd like me to share my unpopular opinions about next. If you want to watch more of my content, I'll be sure to leave a playlist here. Otherwise, until then, bye for now.